We usually think that when we say something, it's either true or it's false. Black and white. Simple, right? Well, it turns out the real story of what meaning actually means is so much more complex and honestly, way more fascinating. So let's dive in.
To get us started, just think about this simple question. How many people is many? Seriously, what's the number? Is it 10, 100, 1,000? The fact that you can't just give me one solid number, well, that's the key that unlocks this whole topic. It shows us that meaning isn't always so clear-cut.
So we're going to use this one sentence as our guide for this whole explainer. There are many people in the square. I mean, it seems simple enough on the surface, but as you're about to see, this sentence is hiding a whole world of complexity.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the simple story. This is the version of language that most of us just kind of absorb growing up. The idea that everything we say just boils down to one simple question. Is it true or not?
This traditional view actually has a pretty formal name, truth-conditional semantics. And it's a very logical, very clean idea. It basically says that a sentence's meaning is just the checklist of things that have to be true in the world for that sentence to be true. For the cat is on the mat, it means there's a cat, there's a mat, and the cat is on top of the mat. Sounds simple enough, right?
All right, so if we apply that logic, is our sentence, there are many people in the square, true? Well, to answer that, we'd need a really clear condition. We'd have to know exactly what number of people equals many, and right there, that's where this simple story starts to fall apart.
So let's move on and see where things get really interesting. It's time to start poking some holes in that simple story and see where the messiness of real, everyday language comes pouring in.
And here's the first big problem. Context. It turns out, the truth of what we say isn't some fixed property of the words themselves. Nope. It's totally, completely tied to the situation we're in when we say them.
And this slide, wow, it just shows this problem perfectly. Imagine you've got 10 people crammed into a tiny phone booth. If you say, many people are here, yeah, that feels absolutely true. But now take those same 10 people and scatter them across a massive football stadium. If you say the same words, suddenly it feels completely false. Same words, same number of people, but the context changes everything.
This leads us to a really powerful idea from linguistics research. Sometimes sentences just aren't strictly true or false. They can exist in this kind of gray area, a sort of truth gap. This is what we call vagueness. And our language is absolutely full of these vague words that live in that gray area. Words like many and most, obviously, but also adjectives like tall or hot. Even time can be vague. How long is a while? It all depends, doesn't it? That old true or false model, it just can't handle this kind of nuance.
So if meaning isn't just about describing a true or false state of the world, then what is it? This brings us to the real game changer, thinking about language as an action. Meaning is what meaning does.
The modern approach that really captures this idea is called dynamic semantics, and it totally reframes the question. Instead of asking, is this sentence true, it asks, what does hearing this sentence do to our shared knowledge? All of a sudden, meaning becomes a sentence's potential to change the context of a conversation. It's not a static snapshot, it's an update. And this shows the process so clearly. Let's say at step 1, you and I, we know nothing about the local square. It's a total blank slate for us. Then, step 2, I make an assertion. I say, there are many people on the square. The meaning of that sentence is the action it performs, which moves us to step 3. Now our shared knowledge has been updated. We both believe the square is populated. That change, that update, that is the meaning.
But it goes even deeper than just adding new facts to what we both know. When we speak, we're actually performing all sorts of actions out in the world. Linguists have a great name for these, speech acts. So when you say yes, you're performing the act of affirming something. When you say no, you're performing the act of denial. Making a statement or asking a question, those are fundamental actions too. We use our words to agree, to disagree, to ask, to command. We're not just describing the world around us, we're actively participating in it.
Now you might be thinking, wow, this sounds incredibly complex. And you know what? You'd be right. So let's take a quick glimpse behind the curtain at the powerful tools that language scientists actually use to figure all this stuff out. So, to get a really precise handle on all this stuff, context, vagueness, these dynamic updates, linguists and semanticists don't just sit around and guess. They use incredibly powerful mathematical and logical frameworks to build these formal models of how meaning actually works.
I mean, some of these frameworks get so precise, they can even distinguish why 2 plus 2 equals 4 and the square root of 16 is 4 don't really feel like they mean the same thing, even though they're both logically true. This insane level of detail is called hyperintentionality, and it just shows how deep this science really goes.
Advanced frameworks like these get at this by treating meaning not as a static fact, but as a procedure. So think of it like this. The meaning of a phrase isn't just the final answer, it's the mental recipe you follow to get there. And this procedural view is exactly how scientists can model all the deep complexities we've been talking about.
Okay, so we've gone from a simple true or false world into this dynamic, action-packed, and logically complex one. But why does any of this actually matter outside of a linguistics department? What's the takeaway here?
So here's the crucial shift we've made. We've journeyed from this old static view of just asking, is it true, to this new dynamic view that asks, what does it do? And trust me, this isn't just some academic game. It has really profound implications for all of us.
Understanding this richer view of meaning is so crucial. For one, it helps us communicate way more clearly because we realize our words always depend on a shared context. It also helps us understand other people better because we see their words not just as facts, but as actions designed to change our perspective. And this is a big one. It's absolutely essential if we ever want to build artificial intelligence that can actually get the nuance of human language. Ultimately, it just reveals the true power of language. It's not just a tool for labeling the world, but for shaping it.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you have a conversation, just pay attention to what's really happening under the surface. Are you just stating facts that are true or false, or with every single sentence, are you performing an action, updating a shared reality, and in your own small way, actually changing the world?